I'm Jen from Fabulous Paper Emporium, and I'm so excited to be back. It just was an extremely long break, and I really apologize. I think I had thought that during the course of the reno, I'd be able to do videos at the same time, and clearly that was not the case. The reno was like, we literally were doing it ourselves. So it was go, go, go to make sure that we got the room and ready in time for the cabinets. So that is done for the most part. And so now I can get back to doing what I love. So now that Christmas is, a week and a half away, I have one, possibly two more little things that I wanted to show you. So today we are doing hand sanitizer wrapping. Here, this is the first one that I did. And it's fairly simple in that there's not a whole lot of embellishments. Part of it was because I was a little bit stuck for what to do, but then I have two other ones that I'm going to do with some of the ephemera from kits and that kind of thing. So basically these are little hand sanitizer thingies that you get from, I want to say Bath and Body Works, something like that. The store that always has the craziest lineup in history to get in. So that's where I got those. And so basically this flips up and you have a nice little holder there. I didn't do it for this one, but I would definitely recommend that you maybe put a little bit of a glue dot on the bottom to keep it in place, because otherwise, if it's a stocking stuffer, it will get jostled around and probably escape from its container, and then the recipient will be like, well, that's a lovely container, but I'm not sure what was in it. Anyhow, so that's something that you can do. So we will be making these together. And if you see, if that would just stay up, you can just slide it in and it sits nicely in its little home. There you go. So we're going to do a couple of different colors. Obviously, I got three different, I was going to say flavors, three different scents. And I kind of wanted to coordinate the outside to go kind of with the inside. So I've done my red one already, and I used the paper from the Farmhouse Christmas from Carta. I love that paper. So this one was just kind of simple. Cut out the paper for the front and the back. And I stamped my little sentiment. And the sentiment is from one of my stamp sets. I'm sorry, I don't have that handy, but you know, I thought I would be able to get it for you really quickly. What does that one say? Merry Christmas. Oh my goodness, I'm still all over the place. Oh yeah, it's from the Lumberjack Christmas, the warm and cozy wishes. That's the stamp set that one is from. So I'm not going to be stamping anymore, although at the very end, I do want to show you the Misti. So if you don't know about the Misti already, if you haven't seen my post about it, we have Mistis in stock right now. And it is the most incredible stamping tool ever imagined. So I think that's what it stands for. Anyhow, so we're going to get into making these fun little things, and I'll go through all the paper required and what I used. But again, this is something that can totally be personalized. You do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Make it as simple or as intricate as you want. I'd love to see whatever it is that you make. So moving right along. So I have got a blue strip, obviously for my frosted coconut snowball. And then I also have a kind of like a lighter craft color for my second strip. And this will go for the iced cinnamon rolls. Those do sound delish. So both of these strips are cut 2 inches wide by 11 inches long. And we're going to be doing some serious scoring because there's a lot of folding in this. And really super simple to make. So if you're looking for some last minute, you know, Christmas kind of ideas, or you've got these going in a stocking stuffer already, this is a fantastic way of kind of just like, you know, Christmas Christmasifying, making them pretty. Yeah, so that would work, you know, even in as a little stocking stuffer would totally work. Okay, so our scoring today is going to be at a 1/2 inch, my favorite, because I have to kind of switch the hands. So 1/2, then we go to 1.5, we go to 3.5, 4.5, 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Okay, I'm going to do that quickly with my blue cardstock. So again, we're going to do 1/2, 1.5, 3.5, 4.5, 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Perfect. So we are done with the scoreboard. That is kind of as intricate as it gets for this project, which is perfect because at this time of year, you do not need more stress than you already have. Okay, so my 2 strips, I apologize, I've got ink all over my hands. Anyways, you've got the 1/2 inch little tab is at this side. So you are going to want to create that little hole like this. That little hole is where the top of the hand sanitizer is going to pop out. So that is between the 1/2 inch score mark and the 1.5 inch score mark. So that's where we're going to be doing our punch. So this is a punch that I got from Stamping Up. So it's the 1 3/4 by 7/8 inch punch. So this is the oval. If you don't have this, it is not the end of the world. I think the simplest thing to do in that case would be to just simply use your hand sanitizer as your guide. And you just draw a pencil mark all the way around the outside. And it's okay to get your pencil kind of in there a little bit because the top obviously kind of comes to, it's rounded a little bit. So you're not going to have to worry about it. Plus, it's not going to fit exactly anyways. So if you happen to have the oval punch, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, you just take this, trace around it, use an X-Acto blade or a pair of scissors. Pair of scissors, obviously cut out the middle, and then you can easily cut the oval out. And with the X-Acto blade, obviously just trace the pencil marks. So for this one, I'm just going to line this up as best I can. It's not going to be perfect, and I usually drive myself a little bit batty trying to get it like perfectly centered, but it's just not going to happen. Like, that's just not the way things work. And, you know, I'm certainly far from perfect. So we're just going to do our best. And if happen to go off the rails a little bit, then, you know, we just cut another piece of paper. It is just paper after all. Okay, I keep on peeking at the sides because I'm like, oh, pressure's on. Okay. Oh, that went flying. Okay, so that's not bad. Pretty centered. You know, could have moved over that way a little bit. I'm going to do the exact same thing to my blue piece. Okay. Need to get that in the light a little bit. Into the light. Walk into the light. There we go. Oh, that one was marginally better. Okay. So I'm going to toss those pieces to the side. You can keep them if you wish, and I'll show you why. You know what? I'm not going to toss those bits to the side. I will set those aside and I'll show you what you can use them for in a second. Okay, so now that we're done with our punching, we're just going to fold this carefully. Do our fold marks. And this one was kind of a guide, kind of not so much a guide. So got that kind of punched out a little bit. So I folded the 1/2 inch, the 1.5. I'm going to fold the 3.5. I'm going to fold the 4.5. I'm going to skip the 6.5 inch score mark because that is strictly a guide for when we fold this puppy over and we glue our little 1/2 inch strip is just going to use that 6.5 inch mark as a guide. That's it. So we don't need to fold that one. We do need to fold in the 7.5 though. And of course we want to make sure that this is kept all lined up. And we also want to do the 8.5. All right, perfecto. Okay, so what we are going to do next is we are going to run a little bit of score tape right there. Okay, I have to find my score tape. And which size am I going to use? I think, trying to see. I think I have, oh yeah, that one is thinner. Okay, so we've got some score tape. You can use liquid glue if you choose to. I'm just going to use some score tape for today. Just run that right down the middle. That would be my dog, who obviously didn't get the memo that I was doing a video. So I'm just going to let him bark. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Before I glue this on, we're going to do a little bit of decorating for this one because I don't want to have to try and attach things without smooshing. So this is going to fold over like this. So this is the area that I'm going to want to decorate right now. And I've got these pieces. So these pieces are from the Warm and Cozy. I had 6 by 6 paper packs in stock, but they were really popular. So unfortunately they're not in stock anymore. But I'm hoping maybe for next Christmas, then I'll have them back, or maybe we'll have something even better. So I'm going to put this, this bit of ephemera is going to go right here. So I've got these two little pieces. And you don't want to go too far down because this is going to tuck into our little stopper at the front. So I'm going to use that kind of as my guide. It usually goes down about, I'd say maybe that's about 1/2 inch. I was going to say my rulers are all over the place. Yeah, about 1/2 inch. Yep. So just from a half inch from the top is, you just kind of want to avoid that area, or 1/2 inch from the bottom. You just kind of want to avoid that area right there. So I think I'm going to put this Hello Winter right about here, and I'm going to put this little snowflake there. It doesn't matter if it overextends a little bit, that's totally fine. And just make sure that if your pieces go beyond the left and the right side of your paper, that you just glue or stay within the lines. And if you wanted to, you could easily flip the piece over if you wanted to, and mark each side. That would give you a guide when you pull it away to stay within. But I think I've got this pretty much covered. It basically goes from here, this little bit right there. So I will be able to stay within the lines or the confines of this particular area that I need to glue. All right, so there we go. Hello, Winter. Okay, we press that down. And then I'm going to use a little bit of these little, whatever you want to call them. What are they called again? Foam dots, foam squares, foam octagonals. And trying to figure out, make sure that I'm not going to go crazy and go off into nowhere's land. Okay. I think I'm going to put a third one right there because it's going to be close. There, and I'll put that right there. Perfect. So now my front is done. And then as I fold this in, I'm going to undo the back of the adhesive strip. And like I was saying before, we're just going to use this as a guide. And I believe that if I fold that, okay. I'm trying to do this so that I have it on camera as well for how to do it. Okay, so the very top of this score mark is going to be right at the 6.5 inch, whoops, that stuck down prematurely, is going to be right at the 6.5 inch mark. There. Okay, so that's going to stand up nice and tall. And once we get that all fixed down, then we'll have one done. So perfect. I'm just going to fold this really quickly because that score mark just needs to be, you know, burnished a little bit more. Okay, and then what I'm going to use for my little stopper at the bottom is this Winter Days. And again, this is from the Warm and Cozy collection, and this was just from the ephemera. And just to kind of add a little bit more, I punched out rather another one of these. So you could easily, if you just wanted to reuse one of these, that would totally be fine. I could put it on the darker as well. It just doesn't add, it kind of blends into the background, which is why I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to use the white one just so that there's a little bit of contrast there. So I'm going to glue the Winter Days down. It's a little bit of liquid glue there. Get that centered. And I just used some blue. I kind of strayed away from the vintage photo for a hot second. And just to show that I can do more than vintage photo. So I just used some dark blue ink that I had. Again, used my little dabber, but I changed the foam on the end to this one, and you know, got some edging done there. Inked up some edges. And then this is going to go right here, but I'm going to want to put this on a couple of these dimensional foam sticker thingies, and you're wanting to put that right, so you, on the side, if you take the side view, right, you're going to want to keep this as flat as you possibly can, because that's where you're going to want it to stay. That's where it's going to sit. That's its home. And I'm going to just use these dimensionals and kind of line them up. So I also don't want to go farther than my little, you know, decoration. Can't go further than that. So I think I'm going to be good with, this is stuck to my finger, but to get it unstuck would be awkward. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take the backings off of these three little guys. Oh, that one's already done. Not sure where that one went to. And we're going to stick our Winter Days right there. Perfect. See, ta-da! That's what makes it stick. And it's not stuck. It's just, that's where its home is. That's its happy home. And so to finalize this all, I'm just going to take, I've got these really big glue dots. I feel like the smaller ones don't necessarily work as well. And if you notice, there's a little bit of an indent, so you're going to want to get it on like the front and back or on the sides. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to stretch it a little bit. Oh, that didn't work very well, because these are really super stretchy. I'm going to stretch it to the front. So I've got some at the front, some at the back. Now it just doesn't want to let go. Let go. There we go. Okay, so I've got my adhesive there. I'm just going to pop this open for a second so you can see. So it goes through on the diagonal. You're going to want to pick that up just a little bit, because you don't want it to stick to anywhere else except for the middle. And then just holding it on the sides, I can just kind of sit that down and pop that down where it's supposed to be. And there we go. Okay, so one and done. So we've got our Hello Winter, got our Hello Winter down. which is perfect. We got our Merry Christmas, Hello Winter, and our next one is going to be with this color. So again, we're just doing the exact same thing, and I'm going to just burnish these edges a little bit. Where you have very little paper, I probably should have done this beforehand, but if I use my table as kind of my third hand, if you will, then I can get those folded no problem, you know, and I haven't creased or crumpled that. Okay, so we're going to do, again, the 1/2 inch, the 1 inch, the 3.5 inch, 4.5, skip the 6.5, go to 7.5 and 8.5. So for this next one, I've kind of combined what I did for the first one, the Merry Christmas, and the second one, in so much as I'm using some of the ephemera, and I've also cut out some of the paper to go on the front and the back. And the paper can also, if you happen to accidentally crease the 6.5, don't worry, if you're putting paper on top, this will just add some extra reinforcement, so you don't have to worry. So for this one, find my front, and I'm going to take this piece of the paper, the designer paper, and I'm just going to glue that to the front really quickly. And I, again, just wanted a little bit of contrast because the ephemera that I've chosen to go on the front is like a cream colored, so it kind of fades into this background, the craft color. So this will just allow it to stand out. All right, so that is my front. Yes. Okay, and then this piece is my back. So the one without the score mark being burnished. Oops, I'm running out of glue. All right. Get that glued down. It's not really a non-directional pattern, so I'm not really worried about, you know, it being upside down or right side up. But if you do have a directional pattern, just be extra careful and, you know, make sure that you check it twice before you start gluing it down. And that way, you know, for sure, you're not going to have any issues. So I'm going to grab my score tape really quickly. Get this down. Okay. Rip that off, and I'm going to glue down my little bits of ephemera first, just so that I don't have to worry about it. I think I'm going to pop that up a little bit. I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I try to have a plan before I start doing videos because otherwise we could quite literally be here all night. Sometimes everything is just overwhelming with how many options you have, and so getting your stuff together, for lack of a better word, because I have some better words for that, but it just, you know, having a plan. Sometimes you just need to have a plan instead of winging it, because winging it when it comes to decorating sometimes is not always my friend. Alrighty. Okay, so again, I keep checking because I don't want to adhere this upside down. All right, so if I do this right here, that should be pretty much in the middle. It's nicely up there. And then we can glue our centerpiece. We're going to get that stuck. Again, right on the 6.5 inch mark. Just like so. Get that burnished perfectly. Excellent. So it's going to stand nice and tall. And then the last little bit, again, is just lining this bottom piece up to where the top is as straight as possible. And then we're going to grab some of our foam. You do not want to get, now I tried this initially with just kind of like regular, really fluffy foam squares, and it really did not want to stay closed. So you want to get some of the thinner ones, if at all possible. And that way it will easily kind of want to stay closed. So that's perfect. And then I've got my little trees here. There's going to be a little bit of overlapping, but that's fine. That is just extra. Let me just get this. Alrighty. So there we've got our little trees. Again, grab a little glue dot. You're going to stick that on the bottom, and then we feed this through, and we are done. Oh, this one does not want to come. There we go. Okay, so this one fits in nice and neatly like this. So we've got our Stay Warm, our Winter Days, Hello Winter, and our Merry Christmas. Aren't they cute? I am so excited about these. I think I will be doing a few more because I'm kind of the last minute Christmas shoppery kind of person. Then I will, I've got a few of these to do. Not gonna lie, not even gonna lie. So that was what I wanted to show you today. Hopefully you found it useful and helpful. But before I go, there was one thing that I did want to show you really quickly. While I was off, I did get a shipment in, and this was probably one of the most exciting parts of my shipment because I have wanted one of these for a long time. I by no means am an expert stamper. I just am not. I've been stamping for a very long time, but there are always certain times where maybe you're in a rush or you are working with a new stamp, a large stamp that can be a little bit difficult to wield, if I can use that word. And this is literally groundbreaking when it comes to stamping. So this is called a Misti. And if I had the box, and I do have the box, it is the most incredible stamp tool invented. Misti, M-I-S-T-I. And My Sweet Petunia is the company that makes these, and they are just fantastic. So the ones that I have brought in, because there are different sizes, there's like the mini one, which I think is close to about half the size. This one will hold a sheet that is 9 by 6 and a bit, 6.5. Yeah, just over 6.5. So how this works is you have this clear acrylic lid, for lack of a better word. There is a grid mark that is laser etched on it. I don't know if you can see that through everything, but I think if I open it this way, you'll be able to see that there's a grid mark on the top. There is a piece of black foam, and the foam it allows you to use two types of stamps. We have got these kinds of stamps, which are your kind of red rubber, which tend to be thicker than your photopolymer. So the photopolymer stamps are like, let me get a photopolymer stamp. So these are kind of like the photopolymer stamps, right? So thinner than these ones. And so the black you would insert here, then put your paper on if you're using the photopolymer. Otherwise, you can take it out. So I'm going to show you with and without. I'm just like, I'm so happy about this. Oh, I forgot to also show you. You get a couple of these sheets with the grid marks on it. So, but then you also have the grid marks on the base as well. So the idea behind this is, let's say you take some cardstock. I'm just going to take a piece of my scraps. So you're going to take your cardstock, and the idea is you've got a magnet here, which is a super duper magnet. So you got to be very careful when you're picking this up that you don't snap it in half. And then we're going to lay that down here. So this is going to keep your piece of paper in place. It's not going nowhere. That much I can assure you. So let's say you had some other stamps all arranged here, or you'd done on some stamping already, then you could easily place this face side down. So where you want to stamp it, you would place it like that. And I just realized I'm going to not use the photopolymer because I took the foam out. So I'm going to use this one. Sorry. This is like my third time using it. Okay. So this one is the thicker one. So now I'm going to take my lid. I am going to lower that and I'm going to collect and grab the stamp. Okay. So now I've grabbed the stamp. At this point, you haven't done any inking whatsoever. Now is where you go to ink. So I'm going to just take my ink. I've got some black stays on here. I'm going to do like a really haphazard job of inking because I want to show you the whole purpose behind this. So not only will it allow you to place your stamp and be completely accurate with it, but it will also correct or allow you the opportunity to correct any boo-boos you may make. So here, obviously, I did a very poor job of inking up my stamp. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to be thorough. I am going to be a Liberace with this ink and make sure we've got it all over the place, except for our hands and the lid. And we're going to go back. How many times have you ever tried to get your stamp back because you've stamped like the middle, it's the inside of a perfect card, your greeting is all but done, you have 1 sentiment to stamp, and it goes wrong? You can never stamp it. By other means, you can never stamp it exactly where it was stamped before. So getting better, but obviously I missed a little bit of area right here, but it's so crisp and perfect still. So we're going to go back again, right? I'm going to ink this up one more time. Hopefully I get this now but again, this just goes to show you that you can ink it up and press it down just as many times as you need. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm giving it a good amount of pressure here so we have some good connection with the ink, the paper, the stamp, and look at that. So I've gone over this 3 times, and each and every time those fine lines are as crisp as if I had done it once. So this just goes to show you it is maybe a little bit on the pricey side for a tool, but I can guarantee you this is not going to wear out on you. It's not going to, it's going to be your best friend. If you are a stamper, beginner, intermediate, advanced, this is an amazing tool, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So I'm going to show it to you one more time. I'm going to flip this over. As much as I love that, I'm going to flip it over. Okay, we are going to remove our stamp. Going to clean that later. And then we are going to put our foam on. And I can already hear the questions, but what about the magnet? The magnet is amazing. The magnet is a very strong magnet. Do not question the magnet's abilities. So again, I'm going to put it in the corner. I'm going to grab my magnet just by sliding it off. Whoops, sliding it off and grabbing it. And it's still on there. Again, it ain't going nowhere. So we're going to take our stamp, again, place it wherever it is that we want. We're going to fold this over, collect our stamp, open it up, and again, we're going to get this all inked up. I don't think I've ever used this particular stamp, so it'll be interesting. Okay, we're going to go over that, make sure we have some good pressure on there on all areas. Now, I don't really have to stamp this again, but if you did, again, like I showed you before, you could go over it. This is ideal if you've got those stamp sets that have layer after layer after layer. So, you know, one layer can be done is maybe the leaves, and those you want to do in green. That's fine. You do the green ones. Then you would layer, your next stamp is going to be maybe pink. So then you can do that. And it's just an amazing tool for all kinds of stamps. And so I was really excited, and I have been really excited to show you exactly what this is all about and how much time it could potentially save you, and money, really, when it comes to the amount of paper that I've thrown out because the stamps just have not been, you know, I've not inked them up properly, or, you know, applied enough pressure. So I'm really, really, really thoroughly pleased and excited to offer this to you on our online store. So hopefully you have enjoyed today's video. I know I certainly did. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited that we are now getting back on track. So I really appreciate your time. I thank you so much for being here. I would really appreciate it if you could give me a big old thumbs up if you found this video helpful or useful in any way, shape, or form. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notifications every single time there's a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.